Say this once when someone disrespects you. Just once, and you'll feel the power shift without raising your voice, without debating, without performing confidence. One sentence. No drama. Because here's what most people don't realize. Disrespect isn't always about someone being rude. It's about access. Access to your attention. Access to your emotional labor. Access to your need to be understood. The moment you start explaining yourself, you hand that access over. And that's why disrespect repeats. Not because you deserve it, not because they're stronger, but because, in a small and silent way, your reaction teaches them the rules. It usually doesn't start as an obvious insult. It starts as a joke that stings, a tone that cuts, a little public jab, a comment that makes you feel heat behind your eyes, a tightness in your throat, that split-second urge to fix the awkwardness so everyone can move on. Most people do exactly what the other person is hoping for. They rush, they defend, they clarify, they soften their words, they try to prove they're reasonable, and in doing that, they train the pattern. But there is a calm line that ends the pattern immediately, because it removes the one thing disrespect needs to survive: your availability. Stay with me, because in a moment, I'll give you the exact sentence. And more importantly, I'll show you why it works so fast, why it feels so final, and why saying anything more right after it can undo everything. Principle 1. Why disrespect keeps coming back. It's comforting to believe disrespect comes from bad people, from villains, from someone with no manners, because if it's all about them, you don't have to look at your role in the pattern. But psychology is harsher and more useful. Most disrespect is conditioned. People test first. They don't announce it with a speech. They drop something small and watch what happens. A slight dig, a dismissive relax, a sarcastic laugh when you speak, a question asked in a way that makes you look small. Then they study your response. Do you smile to keep the peace? Do you over-explain your intention? Do you laugh along even though you didn't find it funny? Do you rush to prove you're not offended? To them, that's data. Not conscious, not always malicious. But human behavior is simple. What works gets repeated. If a jab costs nothing, it becomes a habit. If a boundary blurs, it gets crossed again. If you absorb discomfort to protect the mood, you become the place where discomfort gets dumped. And the brutal part is this: the person doesn't need to hate you for the pattern to continue. They only need to learn that you'll tolerate it. That's why disrespect follows access. Access to your reactions. Access to your need to fix the moment. Access to your emotional energy. If they can push and you'll absorb, they keep pushing. So the real question isn't, how do I make them respect me? The question is, what kind of access have I been giving away? Principle 2. The 3 traps in the moment. Disrespect happens fast. Your body reacts before your mind can form a clean response. Your heart rate jumps. Your thoughts speed up. Your mouth wants to move immediately so you can stop feeling exposed. That's where most people fall into one of 3 traps. Trap 1 is arguing. Arguing feels strong, it feels like self-respect. But most arguments are not power. They're pursuit. You're chasing logic. You're trying to be understood. You're trying to win a courtroom in the other person's head. And the moment you start chasing, you've already given away the frame. Trap 2 is joking it off. Humor can be elegant, but laughing it off when you're actually uncomfortable isn't elegance. It's a cover. That's you swallowing the boundary and calling it maturity. And the other person learns something very simple. You'll take it. Trap 3 is freezing. Silence can be powerful, but not the silence that comes from fear. That kind of silence is loud. People can feel it. Your posture changes. Your eyes shift. Your energy collapses inward. And fear is readable. Here's what matters. The fastest reaction sets the tone of the whole interaction. When you react instantly, you validate the moment. You confirm it deserves your energy. Power dynamics work like this. The person who controls the pace controls the interaction. And that's why the biggest mistake isn't speaking up. It's speaking too fast. High-status behavior is measured, minimal, deliberate. Not because the person is cold, but because delay signals choice and choice signals power. If your response is rushed, it's emotional. If it's measured, it's intentional. And disrespect can't negotiate with intention the way it negotiates with emotion. Principle 3. The Stoic logic of calm power. The Stoics understood something most people still struggle to live. You don't control what happens to you, but you control what gets access to you. Marcus Aurelius wrote about guarding the mind, not by building walls, but by choosing what deserves entry. Epictetus was even more direct. Some things are up to you, and some things aren't. Your response is yours. Their behavior isn't. That isn't passive, that's power. Because when someone disrespects you, they're expecting movement. They're expecting a reaction. They're expecting you to change shape around their behavior, either exploding or shrinking or explaining. Calm disrupts that expectation. Psychologically, calm signals certainty. Certainty signals authority. Authority doesn't rush. It doesn't compete. It doesn't plead its case. And that is deeply uncomfortable for someone who depends on getting a reaction. Disrespect feeds on imbalance. If you flare up, they gain leverage. If you fold inward, they gain leverage. But if nothing shifts in you, no visible emotional leak, they lose the handle they were grabbing. This is what frame control looks like. The centered person decides what matters. And here's the key. Silence alone can do it. But silence with intention does it faster, because it creates a pause that feels heavy. Humans hate a vacuum. We rush to fill it. We scramble to regain control. That's why a calm pause can shift a room more than a loud comeback ever could. But you don't always want only silence. Sometimes you want one clean sentence that locks the boundary in place. One sentence, no debate, because finality is the one thing disrespectful behavior can't stand. Principle 4, the one sentence. Here it is. Say it once, calmly, and then stop. I don't accept being spoken to like that. That's it. No extra lines, no insults, no lecture, no history lesson, no because, no explanation of your childhood wounds, no dramatic threat. I don't accept being spoken to like that. This works because every part of it is engineered. I means you're owning your boundary. You're not attacking their identity. You're not labeling them a bad person. You're talking about what you allow. Don't accept is not the same as don't like. It's not, I feel uncomfortable. Those phrases invite negotiation. Accept communicates decision, finality, choice. Being spoken to like that targets the behavior, not the person. You're not calling them rude. You're not escalating. You're simply naming the line. That's why it's so hard for them to argue with it. If they argue, they expose themselves. If they mock it, they reveal the kind of person they are. Either way, you stop carrying the burden. Now, delivery matters more than volume. Say it slowly. Neutral face. Relaxed shoulders. No smile, no anger, no apology. Your body should look like the sentence is obvious. Timing matters too. Say it immediately after the disrespect, not hours later in a message. Immediate boundaries train faster. And the most important part is what happens next. You stop talking. Because the second you start explaining, you take a clean boundary and turn it into a discussion. If you add, I'm just saying this because I've been stressed lately, you invite them to judge your reason. If you add, you probably didn't mean it, you soften the line before it even lands. If you add, please, you turn a standard into a request. You don't need them to agree. You need the boundary to exist, so you say it once. Then you let silence do what it does best, force reality to show itself. And this is where most people ruin it, because the next few seconds can feel uncomfortable, and your nervous system will beg you to repair the moment. Don't. Principle 5. What happens after you say it? Expect predictable reactions. First is shock. They weren't expecting calm resistance, especially not from someone who usually explains. Then comes the retreat disguised as a joke. I was just kidding. Or the classic reversal. You're too sensitive. That's not a logical argument. It's a test. They're checking if they still have access to the old version of you, the version that fixes the mood by sacrificing the boundary. Sometimes they'll smirk. Sometimes they'll change the subject quickly. Sometimes they'll get quiet. That quiet is important. Awkward silence after a boundary does not mean you did something wrong. It means the old pattern just broke and the system is recalibrating. You might feel guilty. Your mind might start producing reasons to soften it. Maybe I was harsh. Maybe I should clarify. Maybe I should send a follow-up so they don't think I'm mad. That impulse is people-pleasing, wearing a mask of maturity. And people-pleasing is exactly what trained the disrespect. Let the awkwardness exist. Let them sit with the consequence of their tone. Let the room feel heavy for a moment. Seneca warned about becoming a servant to the opinions of others. The fastest way to become that servant is to rush to repair any tension you didn't create. You didn't create the disrespect, you created the boundary, and boundaries can feel cold to people who were benefiting from your warmth. Sometimes after that sentence their tone softens, they correct themselves, they back off. Sometimes they keep distance afterward. If they distance themselves because you set a basic standard, that's not a loss, that's alignment. Because you're not trying to keep everyone close, you're deciding who gets access. Principle 6. When saying nothing is stronger. Not every moment deserves that sentence. Some people don't disrespect you to dominate you. They disrespect you to provoke you. They want the reaction. They want the emotional content. They want engagement. In those moments, words can feed the game. That's when silence is the better weapon. Not freezing silence, but chosen silence. You don't glare. You don't sigh. You don't roll your eyes. You simply remove participation. No explanation. No visible emotional leak. You continue as if the bait didn't exist. This confuses provocateurs because there's nothing to push against. Here's the difference. Boundaries are for patterns. Disengagement is for noise. If someone crosses a line once, you can state the boundary. If they repeat the same behavior after you've been clear, the next message doesn't need more words. The next message is distance. Because repeating the sentence too often turns strength into performance. You don't perform your standards, you live them. High self-respect doesn't announce itself, it's observed. So use the sentence when you feel invaded, when the line is real, when the moment calls for a clear stop. Use silence when the moment is bait. Either way, your goal is the same. Control access. Because respect was never about being liked. It was about being clear. You don't gain power by explaining yourself better. You gain power by deciding what you accept. When you stop reacting, you start choosing. Choosing your tone, choosing your pace, choosing your standards. And that changes everything. Conversations slow down, people adjust. Some people disappear, others show up differently. The world starts treating you the way your boundaries train it to treat you. So remember the line. I don't accept being spoken to like that. Say it once. Mean it. Then let your silence prove you weren't negotiating. If this hit you, you already know where you need it. Comment below where you'll use this sentence first. Work, family, friends. And if you want more strategies for calm power, boundaries, and emotional control, subscribe to Stoic Spring. Your life gets better when you build the habit of protecting your inner peace and growing in maturity. Quietly, consistently, every day.